All right, with this homework, we are talking again about the empirical rule. If you've forgotten the empirical rule, that's the one that talks about if you have one standard deviation, your 68% of your population falls within one standard deviation, 95% falls within two, and 99.7% falls between three. So those are the things you need to keep in mind when you're working this problem. So as we go through here, they tell us that the mean of this distribution is 72.7. So that is the number right in the middle of our distribution, 72.7. And it has a standard deviation of 54 points. It says use the empirical rule to choose the best value for the percentage under the curve that is shaded. And fill in the missing values along the x-axis. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. You see this part that's shaded in this graph. So you're going to see some that may only be shaded about this much, which would be one standard deviation. And then you may see some that are shaded maybe a little bit more than that, which would have 95%. But this one, the one we're looking at right now, it looks like it's containing just about everything. So that's 99.7%. And this little menu, you're going to have a little scroll down menu there that you're going to pick the right one. So what you've got to recognize is, okay, that's about 99.7% of the population. That means 3 standard deviations. So I'm going to say my standard deviation, which is 5.4, multiply that times 3, get 16.2. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to add it to my mean, and I'm also going to subtract it from the mean to go add it to go that way, subtract it to go that way. So I'll have 72.7 plus 16.2, and that's going to give me this spot right here, 88.9. All right, which makes sense because it looks like it's pretty close to 90. And this one down here should be close to 55 when I do this math, but that's going to be 72.7 minus 16.2. That's going to give me 56.5. And that's what's going to go in that one right there. Okay, 3 standard deviations. So again, you're gonna when you're doing these, you're gonna look at your graph and determine whether it's 1, 2, or 3 standard deviations. That's what you're gonna pull down here, and then based on that, use either 68, 95, or use 1 standard deviation, 2 standard, or 3 standard deviations to figure out what to add or subtract from the mean. The mean always goes in the middle. All right, let's look at a different kind of thing. I mean, using the empirical rule again, though, it says that you have lengths of human pregnancies are normally distributed, okay? For the empirical rule to work, you have to be normally distributed. That just means bell-shaped with a mean of 265. Now, if I've got a normal distribution, the mean is going to go in the middle. So I have 265 in the middle and a standard deviation of 14. It says approximately what percentage of pregnancies have lengths between 237 and 293. All right, so let's just take 293. These are going to be equal number from the mean. So 293, I'm going to say 293, subtract the mean from that. That's 28. So 14, which is our standard deviation, will go into 28 2 times. So that means that number 293 is 2 standard deviations away. And if I did the math with 237, I'm going to find its 2 standard deviations on the other side. So within 2 standard deviations, we remember that's 95% of our data is going to be between those 2 standard deviations. So I'd expect approximately 95% of pregnancies have the links between 237 and 293. When I'm doing this next one, it says approximately 68% of pregnancies have a link between what numbers? Well, 68, that's 1 standard deviation. So I take my mean and I add a standard deviation to it. That'll be my upper bound. And then I'm going to take my mean and I'm going to subtract a standard deviation. And that'll be my lower bound. And 68% should fall between those 2 numbers. All right, you can do this. Go for it.